Watching Tokyo Revengers may have been a mistake because I am literally addicted. I wanted to release a video last weekend and I didn't because instead of writing the script of the video, I was in my room reading countless chapters of Tokyo Revengers. I do not read manga. I've tried it a few times, but ever since I started watching anime, I've always watched the anime instead of reading, as I knew that I would enjoy watching the scenes come to life in anime form more than reading it in manga form. And whenever I do attempt it, I struggle to read fight scenes, as sometimes for new readers it can be hard to process what is going on when you only have still images in black and white shown to you, especially when the manga panels are cluttered. I literally waited 4 years between Attack on Titan season 1 and season 2 just so that I could watch the anime instead of reading the manga. The way I've always seen it, if it's good enough that I really want to read the manga, then the anime should be worth the wait. And if it isn't that good when I watch it, then it probably isn't worth reading the manga in the first place. However, when I watched episode 9 of Tokyo Revengers and it ended on a twist that I truly was not expecting, I couldn't wait even 1 week longer. The ending of that episode is what tipped me over the edge and ultimately forced me to read the manga, as there was no way I was waiting another week to see the outcome of that situation. Anyways, after watching that episode, I found myself searching for the manga online within minutes of me completing it. I only planned on reading the next chapter or so in order to see what happened next, but when I read it I realized something. The manga was actually easy to read. Previously, whenever I attempted to read manga, I would have to go over certain panels a few times to even understand what was going on, especially in fight scenes. But Tokyo Revengers fight scenes are so easy to understand that I was going through them faster than I have ever gone through any manga. What was meant to be 1 chapter of reading became 2, and before I knew it, I was reading Tokyo Revengers for the rest of the day, getting up to chapter 100 in almost no time at all. The more I read, the more addicted I got, and the crazy part about the whole situation is that I don't think it's anything revolutionary or that is somehow better than any of my favorite anime, but it had the perfect mix of entertainment and suspense to force me to read the manga. Yes, narratively it may not be as strong as other manga, but it does have a good narrative and they really do know how to keep you hooked. Every time I read a chapter, it ends in a way that desperately makes me want to know what happens next and what direction the story is going to take. I've always loved the gang warfare genre in many different mediums and have always found myself gravitate to stories within this genre, so it was only natural for me to start Tokyo Revengers as soon as I heard about it, and within only 9 episodes, I already had attachment to a lot of characters and a huge interest in the adventures of the gang. It's always interesting to see how a mangaka handles something that has been done before. How will he personalize concepts we already know about and make it unique to his show? I think the gang warfare idea in general has a bit of a gap in the market of manga that needed to be filled by a new popular manga. I appreciate that Wakui doesn't try to do anything more than he has to and focuses on the enjoyment factor of the show over anything else. The show is just pure entertainment value packed into an anime. You're not supposed to watch it while looking for an extremely layered or narratively innovative story. And yes, while I do tend to like layered stories more, anime like this are like a breath of fresh air. Every single chapter leaves you with so many burning questions that need answering that almost force you to read the next chapter, and in the next chapter, even though your questions are answered, even more questions are raised and the cycle continues and tension builds until it finally peaks in a gang battle or any other type of peak. As a person who has been watching older anime for a while now, I'm much more used to long build-ups with eventual huge payoffs, and overall I still like these more. but these smaller segments with more immediate payoffs are some of the most addicting things I've ever watched. I went from not reading any manga to reading almost 100 chapters in only a few days. Not only is the manga addictive due to its nature and story, it's also because of how easy it is to read because of its clean paneling. I don't have to look over panels a few times to understand something because everything is so easy to understand. Even huge fight scenes are illustrated so well and I don't have to think twice about what is going on. I really cannot get enough of this art style. It's not about its level of detail or its beauty, it's about how clean and easy to read it is. Tokyo Revengers is a manga written by the mangaka Ken Wakui. It has been serialized in Kodansha's weekly shonen magazine since 2017. This isn't his first time in the gang genre, as he wrote the manga Shinjuku Swan, which was quite popular in its own right. Shinjuku Swan is about a man who works as a scout in the red light district of Shinjuku, but the Yakuza control this district and the main character is constantly struggling with them, and you can clearly see the experience that Ken has in these type of shows when you read Tokyo Revengers. One day in his apartment, a man called Takemichi is watching the news when he finds out his one and only ex-girlfriend and her brother recently died after being hit with a truck in a gang war involving the Tokyo Manji gang. As he is lamenting his life in a train station, suddenly he is pushed onto the tracks as the train arrives. Moments before he believes he is going to die, he gets transported back 12 years in the past. After meeting Hinata's younger brother in the past, he tells him to protect his sister and randomly returns to the future where he isn't dead and in fact has changed the future just by telling her brother to protect his sister. Now he has the chance to protect his ex from her eventual death. Another reason I like this manga so much is because of how well the anime and the manga is paced. There feels like there are no wasted scenes and everything is either foreshadowing or building up to a moment. As I said before, I've recently been watching a lot of older anime and a lot of the time they are known for having pretty poor pacing. Obviously the classics make up for that with their iconic moments and huge payoffs, but pacing is one issue that was common back then. However, in this manga and even in the anime, the pacing is amazing. As soon as we reach the big payoff of an arc, it feels like within just a few chapters, we are already working towards the next big peak of the next arc. I think this lack of downtime and constant progression of the story is one of the biggest factors that make you continue reading, and the anime really does the manga justice in this regard. Too many times we have seen a mangaka's attempt at good pacing being ruined by an anime studio which is looking to prolong the series, either for money or so they don't catch up to the manga. But as there are already 211 chapters out, it doesn't seem to have this problem as the first 9 episodes of the anime covers 24 chapters. Another reason why it doesn't have this problem is because it is a seasonal anime. Pacing issues seem to be way more frequent in longer anime that aren't split up into seasons, as the anime has to go slower in order to not catch up to the manga. While longer running constant anime does have its benefits to the industry, having a seasonal anime gives you a lot more benefits in a lot more areas. First of all, the pacing, but also the other areas like the animation, sound quality and overall production of the episodes. If you have a certain amount of time to work on a set number of episodes, you can put much more time and effort into it compared to how much time you can put into an anime when you have to produce 1 episode per week every week. And I think when you look at different anime, other than a few anomalies, seasonal anime are produced better than constant running anime, and Tokyo Revengers benefits from that. If you are looking for a manga or an anime with great pacing that you don't have to put a lot of time into in order to fully enjoy, Tokyo Revengers is perfect for you. The characters in Tokyo Revengers are some of the quickest that I've grown attached to. A character can be introduced in 1 chapter and a few chapters later can easily be your favorite due to their actions in these few chapters. And without spoiling anything, this happens a lot as there are so many characters within the show that each have their own memorable moments. You can tell that Wakui puts a lot of care into making sure he uses the side characters well. Even side characters' actions have a huge effect on the story, which I really like, as it's not just the main character going around saving people. In fact, a lot of the time, he is just an assisting factor in a side character's act of heroism. I love the way his weakness in terms of physical strength contradicts his time skipping abilities. He knows what is going to happen next, but he doesn't have the physical strength to stop it. This leads to a lot of side character importance, as a lot of the time Takemichi can't stop the future by himself and so has to rely on his friends to help him, which means that sometimes side characters play an even bigger role than Takemichi himself in preventing bad futures. The side characters have choices to make that can directly impact the entire show and the direction that it is taking, and I feel like this is a great way of really fitting your side characters into your plot. This may not mean much from a person who doesn't read manga, but as a new reader, this was so easy to read and one of the cleanest art styles I've seen from the limited amount I have seen. The payoffs to the suspension building feel so satisfying and we get what we want to see. As I said before, if you want to read a manga that you don't have to put a lot of time into in order to fully enjoy, Tokyo Revengers is perfect for you.